Hello all, my name is Brad Jackson. You're watching the Jacksunday Show, and this is history. My name is Brad Jackson, and whether I'm flying airplanes or building pedals, I'm always learning. Join me, and together we'll expand our horizons. This is Jackson Audio. Alright guys, this is something new for us. It's the 1484 Twin 12 pedal we made with Silvertone. This is a part-for-part recreation of a legendary amplifier. It's not close, it's not an approximation of, it's not inspired by, it's not a modeled after kind of a thing. It is legit the exact amplifier schematic in pedal form. Alright, in 1963, Silvertone amplifiers made a legendary amp known as the 1484. It became known as the Twin 12 because it was their first 212 cabinet they made, which a lot of companies were doing. Fender was doing it. They were making bigger amps to compete on bigger stages and for, frankly, bigger concerts and venues that were happening in the 60s. Well, the Twin 12, with its tremolo and reverb and all the cool things that it had, just caught fire. It just had a sound that was just really unique. It was, I would never say like it's like a big, clean, huge sound like a twin reverb. It's not that thing. It's not, if you're looking for that kind of thing, this is not that thing. This is about character. The Silvertone sound is about having sonic character. That is what it's all about. It's something when you're in a session, a producer says, give me something unique, give me some character, turn your super reverb off, grab your Silvertone, because now you take it, that amplifier with a funky old guitar, like something like that, it just sounds like nothing else. It's the kind of oh, interesting, I like that. If you're looking for that kind of a sonic signature, then the 1484 Twin 12 pedal is what you're looking for, because it perfectly reproduces the sound of the original 1484 amplifier. And there's been so many guys that have used that amp over the year, like Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, Dave Grohl, Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. Another guy, you can't talk about Silvertones without talking about Jack White. The guy basically brought those guys back out of the dead, put him on stage and said, hey, remember this? Remember how great this was? He's a huge part of the Silvertone resurgence because he found what a lot of people found, that they just have a certain sonic signature, an unmistakable sound. So that's why the Silvertone thing really took off. And when we got the chance to get together with those guys and bring that sound back in a pedal form, heck yeah. So when Juan and I and Silvertone got together and decided let's bring this thing back, I feel like it's a really historic thing to bring back a very historic sound to today's players. So I could not be more honored to be working on this pedal and to have my name and the company's name next to someone like Silvertone. So it's a huge moment for me. Let me explain how this works. Instead of using vacuum tubes, we're using JFETs inside this pedal, because JFETs are very, very interesting little transistors. They sound very amp-like, especially when they're overdriven. So you'll find that a lot of pedals that are kind of like an amp in a box kind of a vibe, they always use JFETs because JFETs just do that thing really, really well. So I'd love to tell you that, I designed this product. I really didn't, because the product was designed in 1963 as the 1484 Twin 12 amplifier that Silvertone released with Sears. I literally took the exact schematic, the amplifier schematic from 1963, took out all the vacuum tubes, put in JFETs, biased them up properly, gave it an 18-volt supply with a really heavy-duty power supply, and here we are.
It has been crazy around here. Everybody's just having babies. Brad, myself, Brady, like within like a few weeks of each other. And then trying to do this launch, having kids. It's fun. It's fun. But it came with its own challenges of like how, when a new launch happens, it's like, okay, cool. All-nighters, let's roll, let's get this done. But now it's like, okay, well, the baby doesn't let you sleep. So a bunch of new members to the Jackson Audio world / family. So, we spend so much time trying to like come up with new gear, a new thing to kind of make a big splash in the market. And half the time you're going like, is this just going to ramp up in sales and then just kind of disappear and no one's going to ever care again? So kind of like thinking like, you want to have that legacy. And when you think Silvertone, you just think straight up legacy. Like they haven't done anything for so many years, and you say that name and people are like, oh yeah, that's a great amp or a great company. And there's a lot of like myth behind it too. It's like what happened, where were they made, and a lot of that's documented. But it's like it's a very interesting thing to be a part of, and this product just has that essence of just being a legacy product. Like even if it gets discontinued or we just stop making them and decide that's enough, I think that it will live on in the tales of Silvertone or when they did pedals. It's really special.
When you have the gain down really low, it sounds nice and chimey, just kind of like 90s rock, kind of an edge of breakup thing. But you turn the gain up past like 3 o'clock, and it sounds like Jimmy Page, like a fuzz thing going on. It's just incredible. The dynamic range of this thing is just shocking because it's a fuzz, it's an overdrive, it's a booster, it's a buffer, it's an edge of breakup kind of a thing. And what's wild is you can run the gain wide open, roll your volume back on your guitar, and it gets super chimey and clean again. I'm just completely floored by it. So let me back up a little bit and tell you the story of how this came to be. We've been making amps for years. We've built thousands of amps. Silvertone is obviously a huge name in vacuum tube amplifiers because of the pedigree, the people that have been using those amps for years and years. So we thought, well, why don't we find a way to bring back Silvertone, but bring it back in a pedal form so that it's more affordable for players and you get the sound of the legendary amps, but in a pedal form. So we put our heads together. We decided let's do the 1484. That was the flagship amp anyway from Silvertone. And so we did that. We came up with a schematic. Like I said, we just took the original one and modified it. It took about 2 revisions to get it dialed in, and it just absolutely smokes. So we are now co-branding this product with Silvertone, Jackson Audio, and Silvertone. You can see where Sears used to be, and now it says Jackson Audio. So that it's just the little amp nerd inside me is just geeking out over that to actually have our logo on a product next to Silvertone. It feels like a very historic moment for us. Hope you get a chance to try one. We think you're really gonna love it. I think it does a lot of things that I've never heard any other pedal do. So let's stay tuned and keep learning more about the pedal. Okay, so this is how I set the pedal up on my rig. I set my amps pretty clean just because I want to be able to have a lot of range. I want to go from clean to any variation of overdrive or fuzz. So what I typically do is I run the amp, about 2 or 3, just right straight clean. But I'll run the gain if I'm trying to do a kind of a Tom Petty, kind of a jangly thing. I'll run the gain right about, I guess it'd be 9 o'clock. And when you engage it, it has a good little push to it. It makes the notes get a little bit hairier. You slam a good power chord, and it feels really good. It's just kind of a classic rock thing. Once you get to about 12 o'clock on the gain knob, it's an overdrive. It's a straight up overdrive. Sounds like the 60s. Sounds really push and aggressive, especially with a humbucker guitar. It sounds really, really good on that. From about 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, you're moving into, I would say, Led Zeppelin tones, like really pushed, fuzzy tones. It's just the sound of an amp dying. It's like the amp just can't give anymore, so it just folds over and dies. From 3 o'clock up, you're past fuzz, you're getting into squashed, crushed kind of things. Kind of reminds me of like a Black Sabbath kind of thing, early Black Sabbath vibe. That's cool. And that bass knob is such a huge part of that. It goes from like completely crushed out with the bass max and the gain maxed to that's a cool sound. It's like almost like a little kind of nasal, like what's that song? The Darkness. I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it started off really like. I don't know Miser Lou. Plus you have the classic Jacksunday EQ that you see exactly on the amplifier. So if you ran this pedal, this as a preamp, into a power amp, what you've essentially created then is a Silvertone twin 12 amplifier using this as a preamp, maybe even like the effects return on a tube amplifier. Well, now you've completely removed the preamp of the amplifier, using this as a preamp. Now it's a Silvertone preamp into your power amp. Okay, so this is the circuit inside the pedal. It's very, very simple, not a whole lot going on. There's a reason for that. So back when I was building amps, this was from like 05 to 2016 or so. People ask me, how do you make amps that sound good? The really simple, straightforward answer is this. Use the best quality parts you possibly can and use as few of them as possible. That's how you make it. That's the secret to making a great sounding amp. It's what you take out of an amp that makes it sound really, really natural. It's not what you put into it. If you look at the schematic for a Silvertone amp, you're going to see that they know the trick because it's a very, very simple circuit. There's not a lot going on, but what is going on matters, and everything works towards the goal of a really great pure tone. Well, same thing here. There's not a lot of components inside because every component matters. There's no extraneous things going on. There's no bells and whistles. It's all tone. Everything is designed to reproduce the exact tone of a Silvertone amplifier. Well, there's one more thing in there that really, really matters, and it's the thing that sets these types of pedals apart from a lot of pedals, and it's the power supply. To make a pedal sound amp-like, you typically have to run it at higher voltages than 9 volts. A pedal at 9 volts may sound fine, but when you start pushing it to 18 volts, it's just a night and day difference. The harmonic complexity that you get, well, without getting too far into the nerd speak, the frequency response of an audio system increases, the dynamic response increases as the power supply increases in voltage. You get more high frequency response, you get more dynamic range. All those kind of things happen when you bump up a power supply from 9 volts to 18 volts. It works the same way here. It sounds amp-like because, an amp is running at hundreds of volts. It's not possible with JFETs, but we can get closer than a lot of people do. So running the power supply at a higher voltage gets you a more amp-like feel. The touch response, the way it cleans up when you back off the volume, those are all the tricks of the trade that people use to make pedals sound amp-like, and having an 18-volt power supply that converts internally, so you don't have to have an 18-volt supply. You just run 9 volts into it, and the pedal will bump it up to 18 volts. So that's one of the secrets to making a really great amp-like pedal, and we've done that here. The power supply is super robust, so when you smash a power chord, the pedal pushes right back against you. the same way a really great amp does. So there's not a lot in here, but everything that is in here is all working together to deliver the authentic Silvertone tone.
Like, I remember plugging my first guitar into a PV amplifier, and this is my first electric guitar. I plugged in the guitar cables, and then I went to go strum my first chord, and I went, where's the distortion? I thought electric guitar just had distortion. But that was, you know, the start there of the pedal journey. Going to stores and taking a gamble on a new pedal. It's like, I don't know how this is going to work, if I'm going to even like it. But you take it home, or you take it to your practice or your gig, and you're like, all right, here goes nothing. And that's kind of like that. I feel like that's what they kind of felt like in the 60s, when they were just inventing and creating and just creating art and creating music. It's like, we try to make this a piece of art. You know, with the stainless steel, the jewel, the knobs. It's been a lot of fun, and I really hope you guys enjoy it, because it's just really cool and really special, and it's an honor to be able to do this.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video on the 1484 Twin 12 pedal. I'm incredibly proud of this product. I'm absolutely honored to be involved in it. It's a huge thing for me. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope you like the way it sounds. Hope you learned something about how amp-like pedals are made today. Most of all, I hope you get a chance to check this out. If you would, check out our website, jackson.audio, give it a look. For watching, if you would, please, if you have time, please subscribe and tell your friends about this. We're trying to spread the word about this pedal, and anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. This is yet another episode of the Jacksunday Show. Thanks for watching. Take care.